Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Let the filibustering begin.
Welcome to Nerd Party.
Hello and welcome to Filibuster here on the Nerd Party Network. And if any of our listeners follow us on Instagram or Twitter, you'd have seen the many amazing people we spoke with during the London Film Festival this October. From Chris Pine to Michael Moore and countless other incredible talented actors, directors, writers and producers. Now we've compiled them all together in this episode and you can hear what they had to say about their films appearing at the festival. Me and Dallas will be back next week where we will talk about the movies of the festival, but this week you can listen to the stars of the festival. You can find a timeline of interviews in the show notes and each interview will have a small introduction along the way. So we'll start off with Oscar-winning documentarian Michael Moore talking about his latest film, Fahrenheit 11/9. Hi there, Michael. Pleasure to speak with you.
How much of a pleasure?
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. I enjoyed you on Bill Maher a few weeks ago.
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah, I listened to the podcast. My question for you is that with your film, it has a lot of messages for Democrats, voters, and Americans. What do you think, with it being shown in a UK audience, what should we take away from it, and what can we apply to our politics here?
I think this movie is so relevant to what you're dealing with here, and frankly, just in these last few years, each time I've come here, I go home feeling bad about the United Kingdom. You know, it's first of all, it's not much of a kingdom anymore. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. And there isn't much great about Britain anymore, if we can be completely honest.
I'm
right?
Scottish. You can slag UK off as much as you want.
I'm just saying the truth here. All right. I mean, I love everybody here. Just don't get me wrong. But the way that the UK seems to constantly wanting to try to emulate the United States, and most recently with dismantling bit by bit your National Health Service, is just the saddest thing to see. That you're allowing capitalism to essentially run the government and not the people. And so, which is so ironic that of all places that this would happen. When I did a show at the Roundhouse years ago, and I had a little hut behind the place, in that neighborhood right behind the main center of Camden Town. And I would walk there every night to do my show, and there was a plaque on a house that said that this is where Frederick Engels lived, and Marx and Engels, would meet there. And I touch the plaque every night on the way over there, and I think because this country provided a refuge for people who were trying to think things out a little differently, and trying to make sure that the wealthy and the uber rich wouldn't run the show. You know, so many of these ideas percolated here, were born here, were fought for here. What happened?
Yeah, because it seems as well that with the UK that we have the NHS, we have the BBC as it's there on your hat, and our views on and restrictions on guns.
I just have it so the ITV won't put me on.
With all these different things that in America, particularly on the right, these things are classed as socialism and encroaching on rights. Why do Americans have this odd view of the UK as some sort of socialist place then?
Well, there's two odd views we have. Yes, that this is the place where they fight for the workers. False. And whether it's the Crown or the Queen Victoria show or Downton Abbey, it's just it's like any kind of fantasy place. It's like a fantasy island. Like what if life were all like that?
Absolutely.
So, but I don't know. But I think, yes, I mean, Americans, we 70% of us don't have a passport. Okay, so we don't ever get out of the house and go anywhere or see what the world's like or what you're like or whatever. So
And finally, is there one thing, as you say, like there's hope, there's frustration, but is there anyone that you feel that could be kind of a rallying cry, anyone that could inspire the change that America's looking for in sort of November 6th, or is it really going to be the worst case scenario?
You mean other than me?
Other than you.
Of course, that was implied, wasn't it?
Of course, and stuff.
Well, the Democrats certainly don't have anybody that's going to beat Trump in 2020.
Not even like a Cory Booker, a Kamala Harris, anyone like that.
Wonderful people, but no. Win? No. Win, you have to think like they think. They ran Reagan. They run popular people. They run people that people like and they've seen on TV. we need to run Oprah.
Yeah.
Michelle Obama would win.
Yeah.
People like that. But run a politician and win won't happen now. Won't happen now.
Absolutely. Well, I wish you all the best with the film and all the best in the future as well.
Thank you for saying that. Okay, thank you. Bye.
We spoke with Mia Goth at the Edinburgh Film Festival this summer, and she returns to discuss her starring role in the horror remake, Suspiria. Hi there, Mia. So what was it like to be involved in this film? It's quite a demanding role that you've got in every respect.
It was a dream. It really was. It was a difficult film, but if I could be involved in films like this with directors like Cooke for the rest of my life, I'd be incredibly happy.
Absolutely. Well, good luck tonight and all the best. Thank you. Director Craig William Macneill speaks with me about working with Kristen Stewart and Chloe Sevigny to bring the story of the 1892 murders of the Borden family to the big screen. So obviously this was like a passion project for Chloe Sevigny, and she's an actor and producer on this. How did you become involved in this project, and what was that kind of working relationship like with an actor, producer, and someone that's so passionate about this project?
Yeah, my rep sent me the script to read, and the email said, like, have you ever heard of The Legend of Lizzie Borden? So I immediately jumped, because I grew up outside of Fall River, Massachusetts, and was exposed to tales of Lizzie all throughout my childhood, and was like, I visited her house with my mother when I was a kid. I wrote a little essay on her, so I was really intrigued by her, terrified by her, but interested in her. And as I grew older, I started to question, like, if she did do these things, why, And so when the script was sent to me, I really got excited, and I read the script and really dug it. And then I met with Chloe and Naomi, the producer, and talked to him about my vision for the project, and we all got along really well and hit it off. And working with Chloe is amazing. I mean, she knew this. She's been working with this script for 10 years. I mean, she knew this character so well. So it's fascinating. She brought magic every day to the set, and from a producerial standpoint, it was a wonderfully collaborative process. She was great notes. Was very hands-on with the wardrobe, and in terms of her acting, it was a lot of collaboration again. Like, I really wanted to give her a lot of freedom to bring what she has been living with for so long in that character. And she just brought so much to it. It was amazing to watch her work. Like, I went to the Fall River Historical Society and met with the curators, who were a wealth of information. Read books. We stayed at the house, the house is now a bed and breakfast. So if you're a murder enthusiast, you can go sleep there. And, it was a terrifying experience. Chloe, myself, our cinematographer and a production designer, we all spent the night there shortly before production. I woke up in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep, and I went down to the living room, and I sat in the dark in the room where the father was murdered. And it came to me very clearly how I wanted to shoot that sequence when I was sitting there. And what you see in the film is pretty much exactly what I visualized when I was there. It just sort of like being there was really inspirational, because there's certain characteristics that the house had. There was all these rooms open up into another room and open up to another room, and that was a unique characteristic of the house that I really wanted to find. We shot the film in Savannah, Georgia, which looks nothing like New England, let alone 1892. So it was very hard to find a location that closely matched the original, but the house that we did find did have that quality of the interconnecting rooms. So
and kind of with the kind of story, it's been told before, but I never heard of the story until I saw it. I looked at that on the list and I thought that film sounds really interesting, and I never really knew it was a true story. As the kind of film's been going out into the world, how are kind of people meeting it? Say an American audience and then European audiences. In America, is it most likely, it's a story? In Europe, is it the talent involved, like yourself, Kristen Stewart?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'll be curious to see how people in England, how the audience receives the film.
Yeah, it just seems I'd never heard of it personally.
You never heard of the story?
No, never heard of it.
It's kind of fun, because then you get to experience the movie and then go online and research and see what Lizzie looked like, what her house looked like, what her circumstances were, and then you can revisit. There's been poems and plays and books and other TV series, and you can see all the different takes on this particular legend.
What makes your take unique when there's obviously plays, stories, poems? Is there a worry that with so much you think I could cross over?
The one thing, having stayed in that house, if you're downstairs, you can hear somebody drop a cup upstairs. And there hasn't been a lot of films, at least, or visual tales about the fact that the two of these women were in cahoots, because the fact is, the two of them were there that day of the murders, and the fact that neither of them saw or heard anything doesn't ring true. Like, one of them must have. They both must have. So, you know, our tale's unique in that sense that it's the two of these women that were involved.
I mean, the film deals with a lot of sort of taboo issues of the time. What's that like for a director to shoot scenes like that, to you know, to always kind of look after yourself, to kind of look after the talent? How do you go around dealing with sort of those taboo issues presented in the script and shot?
First and foremost, you just have to, at least in our case, we wanted to look at everything, and it had to ring true and feel honest and not feel cliche, or, you know. So as long as you stay true and honest to your material and the characters, I feel like it's gonna work. So, you know, that was very much in the forefront of what we were discussing, and it was a very like open collaboration between myself and the actors.
Yeah, excellent. The connection between Boy and Lizzie, and that, you know, psychological issues connecting them both. Is that something obviously you look for as a director in your work, or is it just one of these happy trends where, you know, the work comes?
I mean, it's certainly themes that I'm fascinated by and I like to pursue, but it just sort of happened in this case. I think perhaps maybe because of The Boy, the producers saw that, you know, like, using sympathy with a kind of a character that you could argue is a killer, and not showing that character as such a bad human, but just showing the circumstances that they're in.
And then with, say, like, with the casting of someone like Kristen Stewart as well, just like, you know, a darling of independent cinema as well, what was she kind of like to work with us as a talent?
Amazing. I mean, she comes so prepared. She takes this character on page and she elevates it so much. She has so many ideas that are all so great. And I'd never seen her to do something so restrained, where she has to convey so much without speaking. So it's fascinating to see her do that. And it's all that preparation that she does. She allows herself to throw it away and work off of instinct. And it's fascinating to watch, you know.
And are you like that as a director? Are you someone of instinct, or are you a meticulous kind of planner? What's your...
Both, because the 23-day shoot we had, over 180 plus scenes. We had to average about 25 setups a day, which is a lot for these short days. So I had to come in like so prepared, because I had to know where the camera was going to be. I had to know everything, because if I saw out the window and there was a truck outside, or all these things we had to pre-visualize and like work with the art department to say, okay, we're going to shoot this way, so you need to get rid of this electrical box in the wall. So then once you have all that preparation and you get there on set and with the talent, then you can say, okay, this is sort of how we kind of have to do it given the restraints of our production. Like, I like to give them as much freedom as possible to work, and then sort of tweak from there.
Yeah, and is there a challenge doing something in sort of 23 days, shooting a kind of feature film, and that, you know, you talk about preparation, but what happens when, say, something kind of goes wrong? How do you kind of respond to that?
Yeah, I just have to embrace it. And go with it and work on the fly. And I come from an editing background, so it helps a little bit, because I can say, okay, so that happened, like... We can use that. Let's cover it this way, and we can place it together.
Absolutely, perfect. And finally, where's next for the film as it kind of begins? I know it's been out in America a little while. Now it's kind of going around the world. Where's this kind of film going to go? And
I don't know. I hope it goes far. It opens in England in December.
That's excellent. Well, thank you so much, and I wish you all the best with the film and stuff.
Thanks a lot.
We're now joined by actors Chris Pine, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, returning guest Tony Curran, and producer Gillian Berrie, who speak with me about their new Netflix movie Outlaw King, which follows the attempts of Robert the Bruce to achieve freedom for Scotland from the English. Hi there, Chris. How did it feel to play a Scottish legend, and what kind of pressure comes with playing a Scotsman, the Scottish accent, swearing the right way?
Well, I figured I would be crucified by some people, so I kind of gave up trying to be a perfect Scotsman early on. I had an incredible dialect coach. I worked with mainly Scottish men in the largest fraternity of mean actors of all time, and they were brutally honest with me and kept me in line. And I lived in Glasgow for 4 months and just tried to soak up as much as I could. And in terms of playing Robert the Bruce, it's a challenge I couldn't turn down, and the man is 600 some odd years old, and in order to pin down who this guy was a bit more difficult than I thought, so I tried to do justice to the script that was given to me and the character that I saw on the page.
Well, thank you very much. We thought your Scottish accent was great, so there you go.
Thank you very much.
Aaron it's a very kind of intense project at parts. Were you able to kind of distance yourself from the intensity of the story and kind of have fun on set with the cast as well?
I think, like in anything, you should distance yourself from the character you're playing, but I think it's also, my process kind of differs from others, and I think the way I like to do is to stay in character as much as possible when I'm, on set, that's for sure. And it was very emotional and dark, and it was a pretty relentless shoot, so there is a lot you kind of carry with you, and you got to somehow shed that. It's just kind of how the job goes, really, sometimes.
Well, all the best.
Hi Tony, nice to meet you.
Hi there Tony, with obviously the incredible calibre now Outlaw. How does it feel to be the Netflix leading man for Scotland?
You're hilarious. It's great. No, isn't it funny that the calibre, or some people call it calibre, is actually having a cinema release?
Yeah,
so
it's brilliant.
Great. So that's great. That's coming out. It's great. It's great to be in London. It's great to be going up to Edinburgh to show everybody the film. So I'm hearing the music here. I'm getting a wee bit excited again.
We'll get Run Brig on in a moment,
fantastic.
I think.
I've met you before, though.
Yeah, we did a Calibre interview.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's great to be great to be here. I'm looking forward to seeing the film again, and I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled.
Excellent. Well, all the best tonight, and thanks for making us all proud. Cheers. Hi there, James.
Hi.
As a fellow Scot, I felt a real sense of pride in this, not just as Scottish filmmaker and talent. What do you feel when you look back on your experience with this film as a Scottish man and an actor?
Well, I was just very proud that Scotland's been lucky enough to produce some fine actors, a wonderful director in David Mackenzie, and for the Scottish producers to put this together, and to go to Netflix, and all credit to Netflix for putting their faith in it, and thanks to Chris Pine for wanting to be in it. Absolutely. And so I'm very, very proud.
Absolutely. I share that pride with you, and good
Great.
luck there.
Thank you
Cheers.
so much. Thank you.
How are you? Obviously, as a Scottish producer, how much of a challenge is shooting in Scotland at the moment? Because obviously we don't have the studios, but we've got so much talent. Where does the Scottish kind of film studios and the system need to go in the next few years?
I believe we will have a Scottish studio very soon. We'll certainly where Outlander is filming right now in Cumbernauld. There's another one at Ward Park being built right now, which is wonderful. And then there's a business case being thoroughly investigated for another space.
Yeah, is that the one in Edinburgh?
That's right. It's actually two in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
The Scottish Government have doubled the funding. So we've gone from 10 million to 20 million, and that just happened 6 months ago. So in my opinion, and in my lifetime, it hasn't been better. So bring on the studio, and I'm going to be doing everything in my power to encourage that and to make it happen as fast as possible.
I got a real sense of pride as a Scot in the amount of Scottish talent that's used in this film in every respect. What was it like for you to bring all that kind of talent together in this brilliant movie, and now it's getting shared all around the world?
I'm so proud of them, and the Scottish film technicians and all the freelancers did such an amazing job, and our Scottish cast were phenomenal. I mean, there's not a bad turn in there at all. They're just such a talented bunch, and I think that over the past 10 years we've hemorrhaged a lot of cast and crew to other countries, but now Scotland is a really exciting place to work. So I know already that there are a lot of big movies looking at Scotland already, and certainly I intend to continue making.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for flying the flag in every respect. I appreciate it. All the best. You'll know her as one of the co-creators of the cult series Spaced, and now Jessica Hynes is adding directing to her acting and writing talent with her debut feature, The Fight. What made me, I was kind of thinking was, one of my sort of favourite moments was Alice Lowe's scene where she's kind of there.
She's great.
And what I was kind of thinking was there's a connection sort of between yourself and her, was that was that you have recently both done writer-director of your own movies, and is there, and I'm thinking of sort of the
Start contact with Jamie Adams.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal. Jamie Adams is a filmmaker himself, and he basically pioneered this whole style of filmmaking with Ryan Edelston, who was my DOP. And basically, well, why don't we make micro-budget? We can do it so they improvise films in like 5-6 days. And he'd been trying to get me into one of his improvised films for ages. I know he did an improvised film with Alice Lowe. and what he understood and realised, which is unusual, I think, for a lot of directors, that he, without question and without fail, when I did eventually start talking to him after I say he groomed me on social media. I've told him that. He doesn't like it, but it's true. Or he stalked me at least.
This is on audio, so it'll be like Jessica Hynes was groomed on social media. Frasier the son.
But in order to be in one of his films, but eventually, when I did start talking to him, and I did eventually do one of his films called it's with Kobe Smulders, and the title changed to it used to be called Songbird, and now it's called can't remember.
I saw it at the Edinburgh Film Festival.
All right now.
Yeah, you're the best friend in it. Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
So I did that film, and basically he started asking me about any ideas I had.
Yeah.
He said, I'll direct them. And I said, no, I'll direct them. He said, yes, you direct it. And instinctively, his immediate response was, yeah, you direct it, you direct it. And I think it was the same with Alex, who also had an idea, and said, yeah, great, yeah, do it. And I think in seeing Jamie create these films, which I didn't want to create a film in the same way. I didn't want to do something that felt improvised. I wanted to do something as cinematic as I possibly could, of course. And I respect the way he works, but I didn't want to work in that way. Okay. I'll just finish up. But basically, so basically the connection with Alice Lowe. We both work with Jamie Adams, who is one of the most tenacious, determined, incredible, prolific, micro-budget filmmakers who pioneered this 6-day shoot with Ryan Edelston, his DOP, who eventually he gave me to make the fight, who is one of the most phenomenal people I've ever met. Talented DOP, great man. And sort of steered us both in that direction. So that's really what links Alice and I. Apart from anything, I saw her film was massively inspired by it. And she did it in 11 days, I think. And
she was pregnant, wasn't she?
It was just and she's and so Ryan said, I know Alice, I'll call her. And then there she was, turned up 2 days later and came and helped. So it's I feel like I'm, we're all connected with our craziness.
This is us, creator and writer Dan Fogelman and Olivia Cooke speak with me about Life Itself, a huge drama that takes place over generations and continents, starring Oscar Isaacs. Hi there, Dan. How are you? With your film, we're kind of living in a world with boundaries, walls, and such like that. And your film is breaking that down over generations and continents. Sure. What kind of do you hope the message that people will take away from this film that are watching it in America and now here in the UK?
Well, I hope that's it. I mean, I think the common movements of the human experience are remarkably similar if you look at it, but we constantly are creating all these labels and that divide us. We're living in an age of real tribalism, even within our own countries and communities. And but the human experience is really kind of remarkably similar if you break it down to the core human experience, which is we're born, we have parents, many of us have relationships with them, we create families of our own or we don't, and then we die. And in between, there's various forms of heartbreak and joy and love and loss, and we're trying to capture a bit of that.
Absolutely. Well, all the best and well done on your UK premiere. Bye.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hi there, Olivia.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Pleasure to speak with you. With this kind of film that it's spanning continents and generations as well, do you feel that kind of is a message that hopefully people will take away from this, that we're all very much interconnected and kind of we can build walls but they're not going to succeed?
Oh God, absolutely. And I hope people do come out just feeling a little bit more buoyant, a little bit more hopeful about the connections that we make as humans. And yeah, I mean, that's all we've really got to go off, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely, and I wish you all the best with the film today and good luck and stuff.
Cheers,
and Thoroughbreds is awesome.
Oh, thank you very much. Cheers.
This summer, actress Letitia Desch told me about her upcoming film, Two Planes and a Fancy. Making its UK debut at the film festival, its directors Lev Kaman and Whitney Horn tell me about the making of this very unique western. I first heard about your film a few months ago. I was interviewing Letitia Desch, and I was like, so what are you going to be working on next? And she went, I'm going to be starring in this psychedelic movie about Alex Met in the West. And you're just like, that's bookmarked into my head and stuff like that. And then when I noticed it at the film festival, I was like, I've got to get my ticket sorted for that. What was the kind of casting process for this film, and how did you kind of get people like her involved? It's a very, not the kind of cast you would expect for an American Western kind of movie.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. We often cast with at least some of the actors in mind, and some of the actors are people who we've worked with, we've been making films together for 15 years. So Mariana McLellan, who played the Mystic, whose name is Altamariah Symphonia.
Good names.
So Mariana McLellan was in our very first film when she was 16 years old. So she was in Elf for Leisure, which was our last feature. So we wrote with her in mind. Benjamin Karate, we wrote with him in mind. He was in Elf for Leisure and he's a good friend. But Letitia Dawson we cast. And so we did a casting call of French actors, and she came highly recommended. We've seen her in a film by our friend Gabriel Abrantes. He did a short called Ennui, and we loved her in that, and so that was really what made us know that she could do our kind of humor.
And what's kind of like the journey for a film like this? Now it's kind of going out to festivals. Where's it going to kind of go into the world next, and sort of how our audience is going to be able to find it?
I mean, I think it's going to continue on to like adventurous festivals like this one, and then there'll probably be some theatrical. Like that's definitely the hope, in cities that support independent and art film, and then it'll be online. That's the life of them.
And I'm curious as well. Like obviously, as you're directing pair, how does that kind of work? What's the dynamic for a relationship, kind of like that?
Well, I do a lot of the talking at the interview, and I do most of the talking. Yeah.
So you're the puppet master, and
I'm sorry. Yeah. So Whitney does the cinematography on set. She does a little bit more of the hands-on art direction. So you've seen the film. So all of the signs and all of that stuff.
That's amazing.
Every night.
I need to get your autograph. They were inspired.
Every night when everyone else was kind of finishing up, Whitney would go into this big shed. It was like another abandoned house.
It was a legit house.
Yeah.
It was just no power.
Yeah, no bathroom.
How long was the shoot?
We were there for a month and a half.
Really? And then the shoot itself.
Yeah, Whitney and I got there early, scouted out the locations, built the sets, painted the signs, and then
there are a lot of signs.
Yeah, and then we scouted the locations and built the sets, and we had kind of had to plan a because we had a producer with us as well, but she showed up with the cast. So this is a very, very small town where we were filming. We had to get mattresses, put together beds, so that we could have enough place to sleep everybody.
You did a great job. I mean, obviously the budget was incredibly limited.
Yeah. So we had to. It was very much like we set up a little camp out there, and we did that. And so, in terms of our roles, so we write everything together, and then once we hit the set, Whitney's doing the camera work, and I'm talking to the actors. And this time we had a sound person and a producer, so it was our biggest production ever. And then we edited it together.
Does that kind of collaboration where you've got a small budget, you're there on kind of location, does that kind of evoke memories of sort of going out west, that kind of camaraderie that you would get?
I mean, I think that very often the line blurs pretty quickly between what we're filming and what it's like filming it, especially because so much of our films are about behavior, and so they're not about following some big story. They're more about what's it like out here? It's hot, man, my back hurts. So that very much bled into the film.
Perfect.
Did you go off script at any time? I kind of felt there was a few little incidental moments that just made me hoot, so I thought it was hysterical. And I was kind of thinking, well, it's scripted, or is it just let your actors
Well, no, we shoot on film, so we don't have the kind of money to let our actors do it anyway. No, we tend to, we definitely revised a lot of it on location. Right. We did a long rehearsal process. It was, we tried to do 70% rehearsal, 30% shooting. So we really tried to do a lot of that. But once we're shooting, we're like, all right, sun's going down.
Whenever it goes, you're printing.
Yeah, but also that we have it locked in by then. Once we're filming, then it's a performance of a play. It's not like us discovering the movie at that moment.
Good.
Yeah.
And is it a challenge sort of making a kind of film in a Western sort of vein? It's been probably one of the most longest kind of running genres. Is it hard to find sort of that unique angle? And it's certainly what you've found.
That was not hard. No, because our approach was just so different from the outset that it was we did not find ourselves butting up against many other Westerns.
Yeah, you're not going to be clashing with Buster Scruggs. It sounds like.
Exactly.
Perfect. That's everything from me. So I wish you all the best, and I cannot wait to see this movie tomorrow. So all the best. Thank you. Coming soon to Netflix is the latest film from the Coen brothers, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It stars Tim Blake Nelson, Jonjo O'Neill and Harry Melling, and they discuss the making of a Coen brothers anthology western with me.
So how does it feel to play the titular role in a Coen brothers film, and certainly one of the most memorable Coen brothers characters ever already in my eyes after that entrance?
Yeah, only Joel and Ethan would let somebody like me do this.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the genuine article in front of you. How did that guy get to play a title role in anything? I love it. It's, when I was given the script, which I was given it 15 years ago, I thought, wow, if this ever does get made, and they needed to write the other stories for that to happen, I'm going to be one lucky man. And so I took it very seriously. This was a lot of work to make everything look effortless. But Joel and Ethan bring hard work out in people because you just don't want to disappoint them. 6 months, 3 hours a day. Working with the pistol, and then about a month out, really getting into the words, because it all just needed to tumble out as if it were effortless. Because if he's not making it look easy, then it's not going to be easy and fun to watch. That's sort of the trick of it, is the ludicrousness of the singing cowboy is that everything looks so easy and rosy, and so it needed to look like that. That took some doing, but it was fun. It was some fun preparation.
Excellent. Well, enjoy your evening.
Thank you very
Good luck.
much, guys.
Hi there. Obviously, you're here in the West End as well, performing in a play. You've got your world premiere.
You're a nerd.
Yeah, and also I just overheard your previous conversation. What's the differences for you between, like, you know, making a Coen brothers film and then, you know, being on the boards in the West End in London?
If it was any other directors you were talking about, the difference might be bigger. Actually, I found in their work, and I find in their work watching other actors, the actors really get to enjoy themselves, and there's a sense of enjoyment in the work that on stage is much more common, a sense of play, if you like, and that's my favourite thing about working with them, was being able to have that sense of naughtiness and play and fun, and whilst kind of being in a movie, you know, it's very different.
You certainly terrified me with that speech as well at the end, so I'll be having some nightmares for the next few nights, but all the best with your premiere in the West End.
Thanks, Bob.
Cheers. So how do you prepare for a role as physically interesting as that, and one that's so incredibly memorable already in the Coen brothers kind of pantheon of characters?
Yeah, I think you've got to do your research, really. You've got to get it right, because you've got to work out what happened to this guy, and I did all of that, really, and then you've got to watch people move that suffer from this particular condition that I thought my character would have, and so it's just slow building blocks, really, and then you get to a point where you've looked at so many videos and done so much research that you get bored with yourself, and you stop, and then you start, you know, doing the speech work. So it's sort of, you know, gently building it up by numbers, really.
In 1973, 5 men and 6 women drifted across the Atlantic on a raft as part of a scientific experiment studying the sociology of violence, aggression and sexual attraction in human behaviour. Documentarian Marcus Lindeen talks with me about bringing this film, story and team together for one of the most unique documentaries of the year.
The Raft was the first film I saw at the festival. I got to watch a screener copy of it a few weeks ago on the online platform, and it's one of those ones you're always looking for, you know, when you've got a choice of hundreds of movies, shorts, right, what captures you straight away? And I think it was the hook of, like, this was the original Big Brother that was out at sea, and there was more romance. It was just like, you're like, I want to know more about that story.
Right.
What hooked you into making a story about the Raft and this scientific kind of adventure, really?
I mean, to me, it started with, like, I had an idea that I wanted to reunite a group of people that had done something radical in their youth. And I was looking at different radical groups from the 70s to have that perspective, theater groups, queer communes and such things. And then I stumbled upon a book of scientific experiments, like the weirdest scientific experiments of all time or something like that, like one of those popular science books. And one of those experiments was the Akali experiment, and it was called the sex raft. In the book, and of course you can't like not be curious about that.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, I started reading about it, and then I was just like, wow, that's so amazing. How can I not have heard about this story? A little microcosm of humanity, people from different religions and nationalities, men and women, going across the ocean to find some essential truths about who we are. I mean, like, that's like a Greek mythology in reality.
And then when you've found these people that you want to hunt down, as it were, how do you go around getting them together and then creating a film that pays tribute to the story, the history, where they are now, where they were at the time? So many of these great things in 90 minutes, essentially.
It was really challenging. At first, I thought because the story is so strong, it's so sensational, you know, like, who doesn't want to see a film about the sex raft? I mean, like, but it turned out to be so complicated to make the film in many different ways. As a documentary filmmaker, of course, you don't have the same budget as you have as a fiction feature filmmaker. So it was a challenge to have this idea also that I wanted to reconstruct the raft as a set piece in a studio and invite everyone from all over the world to reunite. So it was a lot of time. It took a lot of time to raise the funds, and also it was a big detective work to find the original participants again, and also to find the archive footage of the film, which was like basically lost since back then.
What was the response of the people when you start reaching out to them? Did one of them almost say like, "Hey, I've heard that you already contacted such and such," or had they all gone in wild different ways around the world?
They weren't really in touch, so that was really, I mean, for them it was when they reunited in the studio in Sweden. It was really a moving experience for me also, and for them. I mean, it was like seeing siblings that had been parted for whole lives getting together again. It was very touching. But all of them were very keen on the idea of reuniting with the rest, except the Swedish captain, Maria. She was very hesitant. She felt shame about the experience, and that all the newspapers had, dubbed it the sex raft and whatnot, and she felt that wasn't a truthful depiction of what happened really. So she was hesitant, but I managed to convince her by letting her see one of my previous works, and then she joined in, and it was really her, and thanks to her amazing suitcase that she had kept in the attic for 40 years without opening it, with all the diaries, all the photos, all the like blueprints of the raft, that made me able to find the rest of the characters and retrack the story.
As you're someone that's clearly researched this before you even make this a film, what, when you were speaking to these people, reading the diaries, caught you by surprise that you didn't expect when you went on this kind of documentary adventure?
I must say, like, I was really surprised as soon as I started interviewing the participants individually. Their stories really differed from the story of the scientist and his account in his books about the experiment, and it turned out to contain a quite dramatic story that wasn't in the original version of what he had told. And for example, I mean, the part of the group that was on the raft together with him came to this moment where they felt that he was basically a liability, and they had a fantasy together about maybe murdering him. So I mean, when I learned that, I realized, like, oh wow, something went on out on that raft 40 years ago that hasn't really been told, and there's a story to be told here.
Absolutely. And is it a moment like that where you think, you have an image in your head of where this film could be, and then it just explodes into life, like you find that something? I always think of Capturing the Freedmans. It was going to be a film about a clown that became about abuse, really, and stuff. I
mean, it didn't. I mean, yeah, in a sense, there was a hidden story there that wasn't really told, but of course, the film still tells the overall story also of the experiment, the way you would maybe expect it to be told also. I was quite surprised, I must say, that because I thought, like, if you spend 3 months together with like a group of people on a raft, you don't have any secrets anymore.
No.
But people really, like, there are a lot of things that they hadn't shared, and in the film it's such a fascinating thing to see happen, is that they really open up for the first time, telling each other the most personal stories about why they were really there. I mean, like, they weren't all adventure seekers. One of the women from America, she was actually on the raft as a sort of escape from her abusive husband. And even though the experiment was about understanding violence, she didn't feel it was the place to share that at the time. And that's quite fascinating to me and strange. And it's amazing that the film creates an opportunity for them to finally speak up.
Definitely. And I wish the raft, its adventure around the world, I hope it goes really well. And how are the audiences reacting to it kind of around the world? Are they like, oh my god, that was something crazy, or it's like the 70s, you know, all these different things? How are they reacting?
I mean, I think, of course, like it's amusing. I mean, like, we're all having this kind of romantic ideas about the 70s as this era of like experimentation and wildness and, you know, free sex and stuff like that. And the film does, I mean, talk about this era in a very peculiar way. So I think it's very entertaining in that sense. But I think it surprises audiences when they sit down that they're getting a whole other kind of narrative along with that is really about like human behavior at its core. And it's also a deeply feminist story in a sense also. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, perfect. Well, good luck with the film, and it's definitely one of the most original documentaries I've seen in years, so I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ben Wheatley returns to the London Film Festival and Filibuster to talk about Happy New Year, Colin Burstead, a drama with a huge cast of British talent who find their New Year plans falling apart. I'm joined by Ben, Alexandra, Maria, Lara, Richard Glover, Sarah Baxendale, Sam Riley and Mark Monero on the night of the world premiere to talk about this film. Thank you very much for joining me, Ben Wheatley. How does it feel to be bringing the world premiere of your new film here to London?
It's brilliant. I love the London Film Festival. I love it for many, many different reasons. One of them being it's only 50 minutes from my house by train.
Ideal.
So that's good. And we've had a long history of showing stuff at the London Film Festival, so it's kind of exciting to be here to do a premiere. Finally, I don't think I've ever had a premiere in the UK before. So
it's sort of a return to kind of the smaller routes of something like Down Terrace. What was it like kind of doing a film in sort of 2 weeks and like a kind of having a huge house party, as it were?
Yeah, it's wicked, you know. I mean, it was done. I just really fancied doing a film with a lot of the cast in it. I'm known for a long time, and the idea is that you're just so lucky to be able to get those kind of people together in one place.
What was it like kind of bringing that kind of cast together to, this Charles Dance as well? He was absolutely incredible in this movie.
Yeah, I'm always amazed about all these films are done by the grace of the cast. They'll agree to come on and they'll agree to work in this slightly weird and fast way. I look at it myself and look at the names and go, fuck, I can't believe it.
And what was it like with the cast as well, being able to contribute towards the script as well? How was that for you with that kind of improvisation element?
Yeah, I've always worked like that. I mean, there's only a few of the films we've done that don't have that in. I mean, and it just rubs the edges off the script so that it feels, more natural.
And then what's kind of going to be the next kind of film for you with so much choices as well and so many opportunities? Is it something bigger again or something smaller?
I don't know, I mean, if I've learned anything from this, it's just like you just roll with the punches and see what's going to happen. There's a classic non-answer.
Excellent. I look forward to whatever it is next. You're a legend. Thank you very much. Cheers. How are you? Thank you very much for joining me. How does it feel to be part of starring in Ben Wheatley, a huge British filmmaker, here at his opening night on kind of the London Film Festival? How does that kind of feel for you?
Yeah, absolutely amazing. It's very special. It's a very special film. And when we did the film in this crazy amount of time, 12 days, it felt like a brand new experience, very inspiring, very free, but very creative. It really blew me away. This experience.
And what's kind of like Ben Wheatley's sort of reputation in places like kind of Europe and Germany? He's someone we consider one of our own here in the UK.
I mean, he's as cool as everywhere else in the world. Everybody who loves him knows who he is. And he's incredible.
And what's it like working with such a great kind of British cast as well, that you're the only European in there and stuff?
Yes, fantastic. I mean, big honour, of course. Great honour. He asked my husband Sam through in the text message. I could imagine playing with him his girlfriend. And I couldn't believe it until he showed me the text message, and then I was thrilled to bits.
You very much play the outsider in the film, kind of looking in on this kind of dysfunctional family.
Yeah, you are right.
What was that kind of role like, sort of being sort of the outliner in this kind of group?
I loved it, absolutely loved it. It didn't feel like it to me. We were such a good group of people. I think everybody was just grateful for that experience. But having this outlook, being the stranger who looks into this crazy English family, was of course a lot of fun to play.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much, and good luck with the rest of your night. Hi Richard, how are you? We've just been speaking. How does it feel to be here kind of for the grand world premiere of this movie?
Obviously I am more than delighted to work with Ben Wheatley again. I love Ben Wheatley objectively, and to be in another one of his films is amazing because I did it a couple before. He's an excellent man, and again the cast was gorgeous. It was good to hang out in that crazy apartment.
How does it feel when you're like playing a lord? How do you kind of prepare for a role like that? Very different to some of your previous Ben Wheatley roles.
Obviously I thought at last they realised
you don't die.
No, yes, exactly. Because I played a few bastards recently and a couple of skinheads and racists. So it's quite nice to play a bubbling lord. And, maybe more of that would be nice.
Yeah, we know you so well with comedy as well. What was it like being able to contribute towards a script like this as well?
Just amazing, and Ben he's lovely. He lets you have a go, then he gives you a tip, and then you all play along together. And he's. I don't want to sound too effusive, but he's an amazing chap to work with and to know, and he's brilliant, and he gives you a bit of freedom to knock around.
What was it like trying to manage like this whole family as well? I almost felt the anxiety for your character watching in the scene.
At times, some of the actors are good, like Neil Maskell. It was amazing. Some of the scenes that he did where he was very, very angry in various bits. Was the whole set. We're in this manor house. The whole set. There was a hush of worry, and it was amazing. There's some very, very, very strong actors in this, and everyone is, but Neil Maskell is amazing. It was just great to be part of it. And we all mucked in together. We were all there together, like in Field in England. We were all in it together. So
at least you had a nicer accommodation this time than a field. That's for sure.
Well, and I was in a manor house with Sinead. Very attractive young lady, and Charles Dance. And I locked myself out one night and I had to throw pebbles at a window to get someone to lock me in. And I thought, Charles Dance or Sinead? I went for Sinead.
Absolutely. And wise call. Well, good luck and enjoy the rest of your festival. All the best. Bye. Hi there. How are you?
Okay, thank you. How are you?
Welcome to the world premiere of your new movie. How does it feel to be here?
Overwhelming and exciting. I'm just glad it's finally here.
Well, what was it like kind of with this family? It's very much a dysfunctional kind of family, and you more than anyone are feeling it in this movie. What was it kind of like to be that kind of character and to be that kind of role?
Well, first of all, it was quite challenging because I absolutely love all of them. There were no tears in real life.
Didn't get shoved in any cupboards or anything.
No. And obviously to be so angry towards Sam as he plays David. That was also challenging because him and Alex are great people. But no, just such an amazing role and such great variation of the character to be able to play with such an absolutely amazing actor.
There's so much history between your two characters and so much of it's unseen. How do you prepare for that? Do you kind of write a wee script? Do you think, right, this is what happened before, or do you sort of just go with it, what's in the moment?
I suppose we've all been through, maybe if we haven't been through things like that ourselves, we all know people that have gone through similar things. So you can relate to it to a certain degree, and then you just apply it to the character. So and then you just get lost in the moment and believe that is what's happening.
Absolutely. And what was it like? Obviously the cast were able to contribute towards the script as well. Was there any moment where that you think, oh, that was my moment, that was a line I brought to the film?
Oh God! I don't know if there's a specific moment with that. I suppose it was just amazing to have. We completely trust the script, and to just with every scene we did, just be given complete freedom to play around with it. Baxendale is so rare, so lovely. It was great to just show how
absolutely,
trusted us.
You're not just being hired for a role; it's very much to contribute as well.
And that's so lovely. So that was
Excellent.
Quite exciting.
Excellent. Well, good luck tonight and enjoy the rest of the festival.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Cheers. Bye. Hi there, Sam. How are you?
Really well. How are you?
Yeah, good luck on the world premiere of this movie. How does it feel to be back with Ben Wheatley again and here in London premiering this movie?
Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm a big fan of Ben, and we've become friends. And for my money, he's underrated. So I'm thrilled that he's here in competition with a movie that is absolutely his and Andy Stark of Rook Films, but a film that he's written, shot in 12 days with a group of of his disciples, call us all. And I work with Ben every day of the week, so I'm thrilled for him.
So what was it like? You're kind of the black sheep of the family. There's a lot of suspense about who's this person going to be that's going to come through the door. What was it like when it's that moment you watch and think, oh my God, here I am, you're entering the fray?
It was exciting. It's terrifying as well. There's improvisation things, and which always keeps you on your toes. And my wife was working with me, and she said she was really nervous about the improv because of her English. So I was nervous for her, and then she completely steamrolled me in the first scene we did together. So, but Ben sort of, he makes you feel like you're free, but he controls it and he edits it in a way that makes you all look great.
Absolutely. Well, good luck tonight and all the best. It's a fantastic film and I look forward to the world seeing it. I loved it. Hi there, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
How do you feel? Obviously, it's the world premiere of the movie tonight.
Right.
What was it like for you to be involved in this dysfunctional kind of family?
Yes, I was looking forward to doing a Ben Wheatley film because I think he does like quite heavy, violent, serious, like dark kind of. So when it's about a dysfunctional family, kind of worked out to be the same kind of thing in the end. So
I know it's as tense as watching any sort of action movie of his,
like Kill List or something.
And what was it like? Kind of obviously there's improvisation elements for the cast as well. Is there a moment you think, oh, that was something I contributed to the script or the story that's now in there?
Yeah, but he does leave it because of having the scripts. You're going to base what you say around what's already there. So you just make up your version of that. So it frees you up. To, at first, you're completely scared. Maybe the words won't come up, but after a while, you start to get into it, and it's quite fun. It's a fun way to work.
I think there's the moment, obviously, where your head doesn't quite fit in the room. That's a real kind of crowd pleaser. Was that like a part of the improvisation of like you've got this hotel, castle, and it's like right, we've got a tall guy, a small room. Let's kind of put this together.
Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, it's you. There's a situation, the great cast as well, so it's easy to work off of each other and everything like that. So it's good.
Absolutely. Well, good luck tonight and enjoy your festival.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Shockwave's Diary of a Mind director Ursula Meier tells me about her film, which follows a twisted young French pupil who feels inspired to carry out a murder by his English teacher. Thank you so much for joining me. Kind of Shockwave's Diary of the Mind. It was, I go into film festivals trying to find unique ideas and concepts, and your movie really caught my attention of this, short insight into a young boy going to prison and writing out the week before he murders someone, but doing it in such a unique way where you're seeing how it's affected his teacher and how English could, potentially cause murder in a way. What was your connection with the story and what made you think this is something I want to turn into a film?
Yeah, so at first it's a collection of TV movies. We are a Swiss company, we are 4 directors, Swiss, and from a long time we really want to work with Swiss television because they like outdoor film, and there is a tradition for Swiss director as Alain Tanner, Goretta, so they start with the television. So there is an history between film director and TV, Swiss TV. And we propose to make a collection of movie based on a true story. So for the first time in my life, I research a true story. Can inspire me, inspiration, and also I really want to work again with this actor, the guy, the main character, Benjamin. He's played by Timothée Klein. So I worked with him on my first movie, with Isabelle Huppert. He was just 8 years old, and after I make Sister with him, he was 12, with Léa Seydoux. And I researched a subject story for him. And so it was very funny because I meet Jude, huge tribunal of minor young people, policeman for young people, and I say, can you tell me stories you are so shocked in your life that stay in your mind? And I meet a lot of people and they told me stories, so I inverse the process I usually do, because I have in my imagination a story and I shoot in the real life. And so I inverse, but it was great for me to do that. And I was I read an article. It was written that so he killed father and mother, so it happened lot of time. Not to mother but parricide, it's usual. And but I was very in the article it says that before shooting he sent the writing to his professor of literature, and I think, oh my god, it was before he killed he write, and that these small lines in the article press was very, I was curious, and because it's like you make a movie, you write and you act, you in the real life, and he did it. So, and now in the process of to make a film, now the story is again in the fiction, because I shoot a movie with actor and so it starts with fiction, with imagination, the boy write, it goes through reality, and now with my film I put again in fiction, so I close something. So and it was great for Casey, for the main actor, to work again with him. He was just 18, so it was important for me. I shoot with him at 8, 12, and now it was important not to miss the moment he started to be an adult. And so it was at first was that, and
yeah, perfect.
And the question, and we have to make a short movie, 1 hour. So I'm more longer, but it was great to be so short and to ask very important questions, because it's a lot of questions.
Absolutely. And now I'll ask one last question before I hand you over and stuff. And just with this, like, it's very rare that you watch sort of these true crime stories and you come away thinking it's all very clear cut. With this, I found it so fascinating, that debate about the teacher, how potential involvement, intentionally, unintentionally, with her encouraging him, reading the books. Was that something that really appealed to you about this story, about, where does English and, literature land in how people, process and think about murder, or could be encouraged to murder?
Yes, totally. Because at this moment of the life, you are fascinated sometimes by your professor. You are you search yourself and I'm sure you have professor that you are, oh my god, this professor will help you. Maybe I'm not film director because I don't have a so great professor, so it's so important. But in this case, I think that it's how to say it? It's like an accident in a way, because of course literature don't kill, I'm sure of that, but he was fragile, his mind
just takes that little push almost.
Yes, exactly. And the story is terrible, because this woman spent her whole life for the literature, for teaching, to give with the heart. Wow, read, it's so great to read, to write, do it. It's very important. And that happened, so it's terrible for her. And of course, at first she don't want to say, no, it's not literature, not me. And day after day, she thinks, oh, maybe there is something.
It's that stone around her neck that she described.
And the judge, in a way, he wins, because he said, what you do in your class, and so at the end she don't know, and the psychologist say, no. I think it's the opposite. Maybe because he writes, he don't kill so fast. He take time to. But for her, I think maybe there is two main characters. He is the main character at the start, and with the letter, the letter is like a relay. translate to her, and she becomes the main character because she decides nothing, and suddenly she receives this letter, and the world is...
Almost feels like the third bullet in a way, something like he's killed his parents, then he sent this thing that's almost destroyed her life as well in the same day.
Totally, and it's terrible. And with this long traveling in the school, the first time Fanny Ardant, actress, appears in the camera, we are in a college, in a corridor, and she's like that, and the camera catch her, and we never, until the end of the film, she will the camera catch her, and she decide nothing. But now she's in the story of him, the story he writes.
Absolutely. Well,
she decide nothing, so it's but it's it was a reality, totally.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's an incredible story, and it certainly provokes a debate and stuff. So thank you very much, and I wish you all the best with the festival. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Join the revolution. Join the Nerd Party.
Welcome to Nerd